The three amigos, Steve, Randy, and Pablo, they have something to say about Tucker. Maybe these three should really not have an opinion about this, and this is why. Let's have a listen, and I'll explain why these are the last guys to talk about any of this. Let's have a listen.
I'm here with my colleagues, Liberal caucus members, ministers all, to talk about what happened last night in Edmonton when the Premier of the province of Alberta, Danielle Smith, invites Tucker Carlson right into the heart of my riding.
You know, first of all, the heart of his riding is red. You see all that blue? There's not a riding around for very, very far away. So I don't know why he makes it sound like it's some invasion or something. And, you know, Randy, well, anyway, let's keep going.
You can tell a lot about a person by the company they keep.
Okay, say that's true. So what about these pictures? Do you want more pictures? Because there are actually more pictures. And I'll let everyone go on the internet look these up themselves. So yeah, you are the company that you keep and convicted. Okay, let's keep going.
And I have knocked those doors in Edmonton Centre. And I know how progressive a riding Edmonton Centre is. I've represented it since 2015. And for Danielle Smith to bring the mouthpiece of the MAGA conservative far right to Edmonton Centre to spew hate about LGBTQ2 people is beyond the pale. It's deplorable, and we won't stand for it. And I can tell you, it is completely unacceptable for the Premier of any province to say that she wants to put a target on the back of any Canadian politician.
I haven't heard of any of that at all, and I listened to it. And the target on the back, that's what he's saying. Nobody, as far as I know, no one ever said that. So if you can leave a comment of where you ever heard any of this, because I haven't heard any of it, to be honest. And I thought I listened to it. So,
and my friend and colleague, Stephen Guilbeault, simply for doing his job. You can have respectful discourse in this country. You can raise the issue. You can bang your fist on a table at a FedProv meeting. That's all legit. But you do not summon the dogs of MAGA conservatism to come and somehow try to scare us and to try to incite violence against politicians of any stripe.
I 100% agree, Randy, but I haven't heard any of that. There is no target on any. And for Stephen doing his job is to raise taxes because it's not lowering carbon footprint. And look at the money that he's causing. And you know, Randy's sitting in this little room with a bubble of reporters that are all vetted and have accreditation. So if he went out in the real world and actually talked to people, I think there'd be a lot more people that disapprove of what he has to say. Let's keep going.
Right? It's not acceptable. And if she would take her job seriously, she'd actually be focused on housing, on climate change, on actually solving the issues of Albertans, like forgetting her ridiculous proposal on CPP, instead of trying to summon evil forces from the United States to try to take on one of our colleagues.
Isn't that what the Liberals have been doing for the last 8 years, and it's failing? Like, I don't understand why he's blaming a premier now for causing all of that. And the climate change, she has actually tried to talk to Stephen and he won't answer. She said that he is very difficult to work with because he lives in a bubble. So I don't get what he's trying to get on here. And I agree with the target on the back there, Randy, 100%, but there is no one said anything as far as I can tell. If someone can point that out, that'd be great.
I mean, this goes beyond me and the fact that I was targeted last night at this event. This increases political violence against everyone who runs for office in this country, whether they're doing it at the municipal level, at the provincial level, or at the federal level.
I don't know what he means by political violence. And first of all, I never heard any violence. And political violence he brought up. He's actually creating this because no one said any of that. They just wanted, because they're very frustrated that he never talks to people. He just sits in a bubble and he surrounds himself with people that get paid a lot of money to tell him to keep raising taxes and that it's working. And if anyone says anything different, like show me the science, well, where is the science? How come he's never actually shown it? Put it on Kaggle. Put it for everyone to see it. He will not do that because he can't, because it doesn't exist. That's why he won't do it. Then do it. You're telling me out of all these years, he won't do it. Just keep going.
as my friend and colleague Randy said, like, we can have differences of opinion. We can bang our fist on the table when we meet. We can have strong disagreement. But to incite violence against people who disagree with you, that's not how things should be done in Canada.
Can you clarify what is the violence? What is the violence that I think the minister also said this in French. What is the violence that they are bringing to Canada? What is the political violence that you're talking about? Just to be very clear.
Well, to put a target on someone's back.
Well, I'm glad the reporter asked the question to be very specific about it. And, you know, it's like saying, what is a cat? And you say, a cat is something that looks like a cat. You know, I don't understand. That's all he got? Like, this is the most weakest example. Say it, then say exactly what. And he can't do it because is just making up new words in the dictionary, which is extremely frustrating. This adds to the frustration of what people have with this guy. Tell me exactly what it is. Oh, it's exactly it is because it's specific to exactly what it is. You're like, that's it. I'm not sure if this is a language barrier or what's going on with the French. I don't know, but let's keep going.
For example,
What is the evil?
To put
what is
someone
the
in
evil that you
crosshairs.
say they're bringing here?
I mean, spewing hate speech about LGBTQ people, trying to bring the kind of division that they have in the United States north of the border. MAGA-style conservatism has no place in Canada, and it's trying to reach through our borders. And as Minister Rodriguez has said, conservative premiers, instead of doing their jobs, are trying to invite this wave of populism. And I can tell you, it's making newcomers nervous and fearful. People in the LGBTQ community do not feel safe. We have people who want to run for office that take a look at what happened last night in Edmonton and say, why bother? And that is not good for the political commons. It's not good for Canadian democracy.
So I guess the big boys, Randy, has to step in because he knows Stephen is just falling apart because he doesn't have a reason. He doesn't have an explanation of what caused it. And Randy has to throw everything out there because he's like I think that Trudeau's will just bank. Well, maybe I'd have election 2024 just to compete with Trump. Like, I really think that they're trying to do this. I mean, I agree with what he says that, you know, I don't want anyone to not run because of some reason, but there is no reason. He never said it. I'm not sure if he's just making up news to fill up a void or something. Like, he's actually making division that doesn't exist, you know? Like, that's almost what it looks like. Let's keep going. And Randy's I think he is the best con artist out there. The best.
You brought up Pierre Poilievre's name in your comments. I mean, is this going to be your strategy effectively going forward? Is tying Pierre Poilievre to Trump?
He wants to be prime minister of this country. What happened last night is not acceptable. Is he gonna condemn that? If he wants to run for prime minister, he should have the courage to condemn those. It's not acceptable in our country.
You know, Pablo's from South America, and I really don't get it. He was the heritage minister, and he hired this guy. And I can't put on what racist things that he said. You can look it up on the internet yourself. You want to know what the definition of what that is? This guy. You should look up what he has said to every race, every orientation in the world. This guy. And he did it for 30 years in Montreal. You know, there was that riots back in Montreal 30 years ago. He did it. This guy. And he hired him. Pablo hired him. Pablo, I don't even know if he ever took responsibility for it. I'm actually surprised seeing Pablo coming out of the woodwork because I thought he was resigned a long time ago, like 6 months ago, because he is the last guy to talk about any of this. And then you know what they did when they got hot? They just reshuffled Pablo. Pablo went out, and any question that ever came up about this guy, Lath or whatever his name is, he just said, "Oh, I'm not a minister anymore." Like, that's all that happened. And, you know, he wants to condemn and stuff. He never did anything, Pablo. As far as I know, he probably just said there's so many emails he didn't get to look at it. Even that Anthony Horsefather brought it up, I think, to him. He never did anything for months, Pablo. Let's keep going.
People attended, sir. I mean, what do you make of the fact that there is an audience for it and for their perspective?
Well, as I said in French, the extreme right politics, don't ask the question if it's coming to Canada. It's already here. And they bring it in.
That's funny. I thought the purpose of a politician is to represent your constituents. And how come now he's saying that he doesn't like it, what people are saying. So even Ken McDonald, his constituents, said that Trudeau should leave and have a review of the leader and Jagmeet Singh, that it's due and they should be doing it because they're tanking the polls and they're ignoring the constituents, ignoring the people. So how come all of a sudden you pick and choose who you want to ignore? Because that Pablo, whatever he represents, somewhere in Toronto or whatever like that, he should be representing them, and they're not. It only fits whatever you think. Let's keep going.
Are you not contributing to the
what
divide?
Should have been done? Should he not have been let into the country?
Last question,
You're all
you'll have to
familiar
still-
with his rhetoric. He's been doing this for years. So, what? Should he have been stopped at the border?
So you know those protests in downtown Toronto? How come no one stopped any of those ones that supported, the sea? How come no one stopped that either? Now they're supposed to stop someone because of their political beliefs and in where the constituents actually want to hear it. So, this is going beyond censorship now. This is like they ban you on what you think. You don't think climate change is real? Well, you can't be in Canada. Like, is that what they're going to say? You can't travel or go on vacation anywhere. We're going to ban it. Like, this is such a weird thing, and for them to go through, they're going beyond what would happen in what happens in communist China. That's what they're thinking about, Pablo. And Pablo, he knows South America, he knows Brazil and Argentina, he knows what they went through and are going through. Like, I don't understand. The guy, you think he would have sympathy for the people, and see what the communists do. This guy knows it. This guy has experience. I just don't get it. How he can come to Canada? Well, I guess he can because he gets paid very well. His tummy is full, and his mortgage is paid for, and he probably drives expensive everything. That's how he gets to be who he is. This is like the evolution of how it works, of authoritarian, how it works. This is how it works. Slowly creeps in with guys like this. And the takeaway for this is that Stephen is saying that is political violence, and he doesn't back it up. He has no idea. He's just hurtful that someone actually has a big audience that says that they want to ask questions of him. Because I never heard of any violence. Randy has to jump in because he's the biggest bulldog, and he throws everything, boom, 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 boom. This division, this. People are scared to thing. I don't know. I've never seen any proof, and I hope they do apply for office. But I haven't seen any proof. So it's all talk. And then Pablo just jumps in, and he's the last guy. He hired, if the biggest definition of R, he hired it. He didn't care. And I'm surprised he's still there. He's the one that should walk off that ship too, with the Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah, the sinking ship. He should just go for now. I don't even know why he's still there.
His word should
Okay, let's hear the rest of it.
We cannot accept that in Canada. This is not us, and this will never be. This will never be us.
Are you not contributing to the divide by coming out here and comparing Polyev to this and making this about him? Are you not contributing to the divide by doing that? If your government has been accused,
we're not comparing Polyev to him. I think what
You're
my
not? Have you looked at your own advertising from your own party?
I mean, this is Trudeau's plan for the next election, to compare Pierre to Trump. That's his whole plan. I'm glad the reporter actually brought this out, but this is Trudeau that's what he's going to do. That's exactly what he's going to do. That's the only way he's trying to get more votes, is if he compares Pierre to Trump. That's it. That's the game plan. And, Stephen's looking a little dumbfounded here because he's a little shocked that they actually brought them up. Maybe he's going to start taking away their accreditation because they're asking too many questions here. I don't like it. Right, Stephen?
What Mr. Rodriguez just said is he said, I'm asking Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the opposition, to condemn those hateful and violent statements by Tucker Carlson.
Well, I would agree too, but I don't think Pierre is going to agree on any of that because no one has said what Tucker said. Remember with Jolie, the reporter asked and said, "Do you agree with Melanie Jolie, what she said about the conflict in the Middle East?" And he goes, "Well, what is her story? Because she keeps changing it all the time. She goes to one audience, says one thing. She goes to another audience, says the opposite. So I don't even know what am I supposed to talk about, because I don't know. No one's saying anything. Well, just say what it is, Stephen. And it's almost really smart for the Liberals to bring these three guys. They knew exactly. One chump messes up, the other one jumps in, the other one just throws everything out there, that accuses everything, and then the next guy comes in and he's very upset about the comments here. And it can't happen in Canada. It's like, you guys are like the most perfect three amigos that all stick up and help each other when none of them have any answers. That's what it looks like to me. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you made it to the end here. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.